Hello, students. Welcome back to economics class. Today we start with a new chapter, chapter 2, People as a Resource. This chapter has the following learning outcomes. We will understand how investment is done for human capital formation. You will understand economic activities of both men and women. You will understand how the quality of population can be created, and we will also understand the seasonal and the disguised unemployment. The keywords that we need to know for this chapter are: number one is resource, any material which can be transformed into any that becomes into something that becomes more valuable and useful is known as a resource. Human resource is a natural resource which is developed by high educational skills. Economic activities are all those activities that give income to the people. Disguised unemployment, it is a situation in which more people are engaged in a particular work than required. Liable person is a person who is healthy but he's not educated. Okay? He is giving no profit to himself or the country, and so he's a liable person. Asset, if a person is healthy as well as educated and earning with profit, it is called an asset person. Resource refers to the goods and services that is used in the process of production. This is what we learned in the first chapter, Palanpur. We had also seen the organization of production over there, which was land, labor, capital. Capital is again divided into working capital and fixed capital. And then the fourth one is human capital, which we are going to learn in this chapter. So this chapter, we are going to explain population as an asset for the economy rather than a liability. So resource refers to all the goods and services that are used during the process of production. This can also be a natural resource. This can also be a human resource. Natural resources are the commodities that are valuable in their relatively natural form. And human resources are valuable human work power. So natural resources are naturally occurring substances that are used in the process of production. These resources include various kinds of metals, materials, wood, crude oil, etc. And human resources. Human resources are also called as human capital. This refers to the stock of productive skill and productive abilities embodied in the working population of the country. You should not confuse this with the physical capital or just the word capital. Physical capital is the stock of machines and other man-made physical assets which are used in process of production. But human capital is a stock of knowledge, skill, abilities, etc. about the people which can be used in the process of production. Machine is a physical capital, but the skill of the engineer to make the machine is human capital. Physical capital is the consequence of human capital. A factor of production, human capital has emerged with greater significance than the physical capital. Global impact of IT in India is an outstanding example of the growth of human capital in the Indian economy. It is beyond doubt that there is a direct relationship between human capital and the economic growth of a country. Greater stock of human capital implies greater productive skills at the disposal of a nation, and therefore a greater size of nation's economy. So if we have a better human capital, our economy is also going to be much better. So basically, this chapter will explain whether the population is an asset or a liability. Population becomes human capital when there is investment made in the form of education, training, medical care. Human capital is basically a stock of skills and productive knowledge embodied in them. So if you look at these two pictures of Amir Khan, one is from Dil Chahta Hai and one is from Rangila. In Dil Chahta Hai, he's a MBA, he's educated and he's running a business. So he was an asset to the country. But in Rangila, he was good for nothing. Hence, he became a liability to the country. Yes? So people as a resource is a way of referring to countries' working people in terms of their existing productive skills and abilities. Looking at the population from this productive aspect emphasizes its ability to contribute to the creation of the gross national product, GNP. When you look at people as a resource, you look at their ability to contribute for the nation's national product. Like other resources, population also is a resource. It is a human resource. This is the positive side of a large population that is often overlooked when we look only at the negative side, considering only the problems the population is bringing along with it. Food, education, health facilities. When the existing human resource is further developed by becoming more educated and more healthy, we call that human capital formation. So when the existing population is developed all the more further, we call it human capital formation. So the process of transforming the people in a country into workers who are capable of producing goods and services is called human capital formation. Now, human capital is a stock concept. It is measured at a point of time, like, for example, say end of the year. Human capital formation refers to addition to that stock of human capital during the year. So let's say we calculated at the end of every year. So during the year, how much we are adding is human capital formation. It is a flow concept. For example, if 5 engineers are ready by the end of the year 2009, then that is the stock of human capital. And if 6 engineers are ready at the end of the year 2010, it again adds to the stock of human capital. One addition, an engineer between 2009 and 2010 is considered as human capital formation. This human capital formation refers to the increase in stock of abilities, knowledge, and skill acquired by the people of a country during a particular time. So in 2009 also there were 5, 2010 there were 6. So one was added, one particular person was added. So that is considered as human capital formation. Okay, so investment, human capital formation that adds to the productive power of the country is just like physical capital formation. Investment in human capital formation gives a return just like investment in physical capital. So how does this human capital formation occur? What are the sources of this human capital formation? Human capital formation occurs when more engineers are produced, more doctors are produced, when existing working force requires greater physical and mental abilities to serve as a resource in the process of production. Human capital formation occurs when great investment is directed towards education, productive training, good health of people, especially those who are due to serve as the working population of the country. Human capital formation implies greater expenditure on school, colleges, nursing homes, etc. Better trained and healthy people would definitely serve well as a human resource in the process of production. Process of production will automatically accelerate if the stock of human capital of the nation improves over time. So this clearly implies that if one country wants to progress, it has to focus on improving its stock of human capital. Improving Improvement in human capital directly means increase in the knowledge level of knowledge with an increase in human capital. More and more people in the country should acquire the skills and knowledge. The process of acquiring the skills and knowledge is called human capital formation. So, which are the sources of human capital formation? Expenditure on education, expenditure on health, on the job training, study programs for adults, expenditure on information, and migration. So, investment in education is considered as one of the most important sources of human capital formation. There are several other sources as well. Investment in health, on the job training, migration, and information are also other sources of human capital formation. Now, so basically, when you invest in human capital, okay, investing in human capital gives you returns just like you would get returns when you invest in physical capital. This can be seen directly in the form of higher incomes earned because of higher productivity of the more educated or better trained people, as well as higher productivity of healthier people. So, when you invest in human capital by spending money on education or on better health products, you get returns just like you would get if you would invest in a physical capital. Investment in human capital happens by the way of expenditure on education and healthcare. This investment on people is same as investment in land and capital. When one invests in physical capital with the hope of high returns in the future, a child is also investing in education and healthcare with thinking of higher returns in the form of higher earnings and contribution to the society. Yes, so when you are investing in a particular course or education, you are investing in yourself. You are a human capital. Today, when you are getting education from a school, you are putting that much money, your parents are putting that much money into human capital for you, and you are going to earn back, you're going to earn a livelihood in the future. Okay, that is going to be your returns. Okay, educated parents realize the importance of education. They are also conscious about the nutrition and hygiene, and that is why they are found to invest more heavily on education and health of their children. Now, I would like to talk about two people. Sakal, there are two. There are two friends, Sakal and Vilas. Okay, they were living in the same village, Semapur. Now, Sakal was 12-year-old boy. His mother, Sheila, she looked after the domestic chores of the house. His father was Bhutta Chaudhary, and he worked in an agricultural field. Now, Sakal helped his mother in domestic chores. He also looked after his younger brother Jitu and her sister Situ. His uncle Shyam had passed the matriculation exam, that is 10th standard, but he was sitting idle in the house and he had no job. Bhutta and Sheila were eager to teach Sakal. They really wanted to teach Sakal something. So they forced him to join this village school, which he joined. He started studying and he completed his higher secondary examination, that is 12th standard, HSC. Then his father persuaded him to study more. Okay. He raised a loan for Sakal to study a vocational course in computer. Sakal was meritorious and interested in studies from the beginning. With great vigor and enthusiasm, he completed the course. After some time, he got a job in a private firm. He even designed a new kind of a software. This software helped increase the sale of firm. So the boss acknowledged his services and rewarded him with the promotion. This was the story of Sakal, and you can see his parents are not educated over here. The father is in the agricultural field and mother is a domestic. She's just looking after the domestic costs. Now we'll see the story of Vilas. Now Vilas is an 11-year-old boy living in the same village as Sakal. Vilas's father Mahesh is a fisherman and his father passed away when he was only 2 years old. And his mother Geeta, she sells fish to earn money and to feed the family. She bought the fish from the landowner's pond and sold it in the nearby mandi. She earns rupees 20 to 30 a day by selling fishes. Vilas became a patient of arthritis. His mother could not afford to take him to a doctor. He could not go to a school also. And he was also not interested in studies. So he helped his mother in cooking and looking after the younger brother, Mohan. After some time, the mother fell sick. There was no one to look after her. There was no one in the family to support them. Vilas also started to sell fish in the same village. And like his mother, he also earned a very small income. Okay, so these are the two scenarios we know about. So, what did you learn from these two scenarios? While in Sakal, the parents have invested in the education, and you saw when you invest in human capital, he got better returns, he's got a better livelihood, he was able to put himself in the world somewhere, he's able to earn something. Whereas in over here, because education is not the background of the parents also, so automatically he was not pushed to study. Okay, and because there is no investment in human capital, he's just going about the same story again and again and again. There is no stop to it. I'm sure in his future also it will be the same thing. There's going to be no change till someone will sit and invest in the human capital. Now we come to Japan. There's a very interesting fact about Japan. Japan, if you have seen on the map, it is such a small piece of land. You know, Japan has no natural resources, but still it is one of the most developed, it is one of the developed countries in the world. All this is because they invested in human resource, especially in education and health. Japan became rich because of the efficiency of its people who have successfully evolved many technologies. So, countries like Japan have invested in human resource. They have no natural resource. Okay, so these countries are Japan is a developed country, and what does it do? It imports the natural resource that they need for their country. They have invested on people, especially in education and health. And these people that they invested in, they have made the country developed. They have made efficient use of all the resources like land and capital. And efficiency and technology evolved by people have made Japan rich and developed. Okay, so I want you all to make one draw people as a resource and draw a little drawing that talks about people as a resource and what you understood about the asset, about the liability. Okay, and with that, I will end today's class. Just give you a little, I want you all to do a little art, a little drawing on the topic people as a resource and what you understood out of it today. Okay, with that, we end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.